Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council. And as you probably know, the Arts Council has many facets, one of which is our arts and education programs. And we have with us today Christy Chenausky, who's our Community Arts and Education Coordinator. And she has someone who I believe has become a close friend from the way I see things happening. You two seem like you've really hit it off. This is Pam Brewer. And you and Pam have been working together on a project for a long time, actually.
Yeah, we've had a long time to become friends.
That's right. We've been through a lot over the last
And you've
3
dug
years.
around in the dirt together and done all kinds of things. Yeah, I was going to make them show their fingernails, just
they're clean now.
They're getting better.
Yours aren't quite there yet.
I'm still in clay every day, so.
Well, Pam is a clay artist, and so I imagine your fingernails are rarely really spotless.
That's exactly right. I have to work very hard to keep,
Yeah.
As we discussed the other day, there's scrub brushes all over the house.
Yeah, well, at least your nails are very healthy. So, they have been working on a project that began first with our former superintendent of schools, Marty Hemrick, who came to the Arts Council, oh gosh, what year was that?
It was 2009.
2009. He came to us around, I think, December-ish 2009 and said that he would like to see, the high school was getting ready to move from one location to another. And he wanted the arts to be a vehicle for the students to kind of link the schools, draw the two locations together and somehow in their hearts and their minds move not just their stuff, but their whole spirit to a new school and celebrate that. And so we did a call for artists and asked basically an unanswerable question of how would you accomplish something like this and involve students. And we had several submissions, and a committee went through and selected Pam Brewer's project as the best project. And I do think, not knocking the other artists, but this was so perfect for this purpose. It was just meant to be like this. Now, Pam, you'd had a lot of experience involving students in collaborative projects before.
Yes.
And so let's describe first what happened. How did we do this?
Well, basically, once the concept was concluded, once we knew what we were going to do, and once we actually walked through the school early before they had even moved in it to look at a location, and we chose a location.
Right.
And then once we did that, then it was a matter of beginning to involve the kids. And what we did was we went I went in the fall with the clay, and all of the art classes took part in it. So there were approximately 200 plus students in the fall who actually made the parts and pieces that were generally nature centered.
Now, did they help choose a theme, or how did that happen?
Actually, the theme kind of happened over a period of time because I had long conversations with Christy about what the superintendent had initially wanted to include.
Right.
They had talked about a bridge, trying to combine the two schools. At one point, we even talked about taking old parts of the school and incorporating it in, and that seemed a little. Well, it just wasn't going to work very well for the kids. Then, so a concept for me, the words that kept coming back were about education and the process of education, and I realized that education, though we change locations, we change materials we use, we may be using computers instead of books now, but the process of education and learning is still the same. So using nature as a theme, the concept was incorporating seeds and fruits of learning. So we literally made seeds and fruits and parts that were of nature, nature-based. So then we came, after they made all the parts and pieces, and thank goodness Whitaker took all the time to fire all of those pieces.
Which took a long time.
Which took a long time and effort. And then I went back last week and we installed it and completed the project.
And created a three-dimensional mural. It's not just a flat mural.
No, it's not a flat
Mosaic.
mural. The work that I do is questionably two-dimensional. It has a two-dimensional imagery in it, but when you get up close. And the kids, they've embedded their hopes and dreams within that wall. I mean, there's certain, literally and figuratively. So there's a depth to this piece that will keep on living over time.
And that was one thing I was going to bring up, is it's kind of like a long-term permanent gift to the future students of that school.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely, yeah.
Because every year for who knows how many years, as long as that building's in use, that will be there. And that will be something that will carry on that spirit.
I like to think it's still living and breathing. You know, that there was the sensation to me the other day when I was thinking about it, that the many hands that made it,
right,
are so much a part of it that it will live and literally breathe.
Yeah.
For as long as the school's there.
It's an amazing piece. Now, Christy, as the arts education coordinator, how does this tie into what you see as your job and your responsibilities, and how did you get, how did you feel this fitting into your role?
Well, I think it's a perfect fit for what I do because basically I just was the conduit trying to get all the information to the right people at the right time and help connect Pam to the teachers and the principals that would make that happen in the best way for all parties involved. And involving the students, and it was just it was a great project. I mean, I was able to really just do what I'm supposed to do. It was great. I mean, everything came together really well. It took us a lot of time to find the right time to do it because the process of the residency, each of the 1-week residencies that Pam did, she spent one day in the classroom of each of the visual arts teachers at Watauga High. So it was a lot of coordinating to figure out when each of them could have a day that she could come and do clay with
that would fit
a
together.
Class that maybe would never have done clay before, would never have even known what to do. And so coordinating with the teachers was a big part of figuring out the right timing. And with the move of the school, there were a lot of obstacles. Just that we didn't foresee when we were first starting out the project. We thought, oh, this would be really simple. The more we got into it, the more we realized that we really needed to have our ducks in a row, and we needed everybody to be ready to do the project because it's such an enormous project that we wanted everybody to be
on board.
Yeah, and excited.
Yeah.
And they were. I mean, I feel like it was exactly the right time. Everybody feels enough at home in the new school now that putting their mark on it really means something. And the old school is not such a distant memory. I mean, they still feel like they're in transition, but they feel enough ownership over the new school that, I'm speaking about students, I think, that they really want to put their mark there. They spend every day there.
Excited to see it happening. And they were so happy. They were even talking about how this is a beginning. Now we can put more art in the school. Now we can continue this process and move.
And I heard that not just the students were talking about that possibility, but that some of the administration was also saying the same kind of things. And so, and you involved how many students altogether?
There were we're somewhere between 400 and 450 students actually took part and had their hands in this process. So coordinating, as I told Christy afterwards, when you stand back and you look and you think, we finished this in 2 weeks with 450 students being a part of it. It's really profound what happens in this work.
And this is a special legacy for you personally, Pam, because you were a student at the first high school.
That's right.
And that was a big part of your heritage and your memories and your life. And then now you've had a role in this new building, and I suspect you're one of the very few that can say that.
I guess. I don't know. I would assume, because I know certainly there's some teachers there that have graduated from there, but certainly are continuing that. Yeah. And it was not something I set out to do. It was one of those wonderful magical things that just all fell into place.
Right.
So it's kind of coming full circle to a school that I moved here when I was a sophomore and was not really a member of the community. And there were no art classes in Watauga High School when I went to high school. So the closest I came was mechanical drawing.
Wow.
Which I did, and which led me to an art career. But So it was coming full circle.
So a lot has come about in those years,
Yes.
and a lot of cool things have happened.
Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
part of it.
Yep.
That's important.
And the students have left a legacy. I had
They
someone
have.
tell me the other day, you in some way they have immortalized themselves in that wall. That they can always say, I put that there, or I made that.
And they'll be able to come back with their children and their grandchildren and say,
Right.
I did that, and that's really special,
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to celebrate this event in collaboration with, I believe, the senior exhibit. Is that correct, Christy?
Yeah, the senior art show, Shelton Wilder kindly said, why don't we just collaborate? We'll do the art opening for the Mosaic, invite the public in to see it, get a chance to meet Pam and some of the students that have worked on it, and really seeing the piece in person is such an experience, just because you can't take in all the details in the photo, and you really can't see how large it is in the photo either. Really, it's a big piece. And anyway, so we're having that on Thursday, May 17th from 4:30 until 6 o'clock. And we really hope you find a time and a chance to come out and see it, meet with us. I think there are going to be some string musicians there, and there'll be some light refreshments, and the senior art students will have their work on display, and it's sort of a special night for them because they get to showcase their work over the past 4 years, and we're really excited and thrilled to be part of that, and also just to open up to the public so that they can see the work of the students also.
And realistically, the public really owns this facility and this school, so this is a chance for them to come and see this in person as part of their lives as well, even if they didn't come in and get their fingernails dirty. So, an opportunity to come and be a part of it in some way, which is really cool. So I'm really excited about what you've done. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful. I love your work. It was interesting because before we met Pam, I had been down at Penland and had been admiring a wall. Come to find out, Pam had created that wall, and it was just gorgeous.
I've been a part of it, yeah. There were a lot of us involved in that wall, but yeah.
Well, you were given the credit when I asked who did this. But at any rate, Pam does some marvelous work with not only with students, but in other ways as well. And we just really appreciate you sharing your gifts with this community the way you have.
Thank you very much. So. I thank all the teachers, like Carlos Alves, who assisted, who was the one who actually helped put that wall together. But for gaining all the information and support that they've given me over the years. And I just hope from the students' perspective that they garner something that goes into their future that helps them support public art.
Yes.
Support public art and understand how powerful it can be and how necessary it is
and I think
for our well-being.
It's probably even more powerful when they have a chance to actually participate in it.
It is. That's what I loved about this process as a whole, is it was not just public art, it's community art, because it involves a lot of hands putting it together. And it's also a little bit performance art, because in the actual act of putting it up, everyone was watching, everyone was becoming, even if they didn't put anything on the wall, they were somehow a part of it.
Right.
Because they were watching it
even
being
if they
done.
loaned Christy a bucket.
Yeah, that's right.
When she was out hunting for
right.
buckets. So, well, thank you both for the role that you played in this. You both were a key part of it, and I appreciate what you both are doing.
Thank
in this
you, and
community.
thanks to all the volunteers who helped us. And
you did have
We
quite a
could
few.
not have done it without.
We could not have done it without our volunteers, nor without the teachers' support and backing. And
Well, come and celebrate, and it's also, I think there's some photographs of it on the county school's website and also on the Arts Council's Facebook page. So if you barely got a glimpse of the pictures that were shown through this interview, go check out these photos in these two locations. And come be a part of the event on the 17th from
4:30 until 6.
Okay, and please join us at the Watauga High School.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.